Falls site, a group of protesters are still in court.
But for some, the civil suits are finally starting to wind down. Here Now's Jacob Barker has that story.
This has been a long time coming for those that were crowded into the jury box today at Supreme Court here in Happy Valley Goose Bay. They pleaded not guilty to being in contempt of court for disobeying a court-ordered injunction. With today's final submissions, one more wait, this time for a decision.
I understand it, but it's frustrating. It's been a long 3 years.
The onus was on Nalcor to prove that there was contempt of the order issued by the Supreme Court. Lawyer Chris King called into evidence dozens of videos filmed by security, as well as media posted to the internet. He argued those that broke the injunction should have been aware of it by some means and were willfully blind to the court-ordered rules.
There was so much emotion, there was so much happening. People were concerned about their lives, about their culture. They were concerned about what was happening around them. Whether a piece of paper was on a fence for them to see or not, there was so much happening.
Land protector lawyer Mark Grushi argued that these were ordinary people caught up in extraordinary circumstances. He said they were drawn together by a shared concern for the project. Grushi spoke to the importance of reconciliation and that this is an opportunity for the court to help further it. Even if a judge does find that there was contempt, he says it's at the judge's discretion whether or not to impose a punishment for contempt.
But when I look at these things, what they represent is an ongoing conflict and breakdown of communication, in a sense, between two worlds, not to sound too dramatic. And it doesn't help if one world simply pushes on the other and inflames it further. It does help when there's a coming together and a communication, which is what reconciliation is all about. And I was essentially suggesting, where appropriate, a exercising of the discretion not to find contempt would be a gesture in that regard.
King also told the court it didn't matter to Nalcor whether or not there was an acquittal or a conviction. It's done its job simply by putting the evidence before the court. But he added that discretion in this case wouldn't be fair to those who resolved their cases in different ways early on.
With respect to the other cases, I don't think anyone's ever asked for it before.
Well, there is one more wait for those that were in court today. Justice Murphy said he's going to consider everything that he's heard and seen over the course of the trial and come back with a decision in a few months from now. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Happy Valley Goose Bay.
The city of St. John's broke its own rules when it held a private vote on a Crime Stoppers proposal. Now, that's according to a former member of council, and the concern involves a vote on the group's plan to put up dozens of posters in the downtown area. Now, council gave the so-called Project Anonymous a green light, and this all happened behind closed doors. Here Now's Mark Quinn reports.
The city's legislation is clear. There are only 3 reasons council can hold a private vote: when an issue is either human resources, intergovernmental, or legal.
And in this particular case, it doesn't seem to be to meet any of those criteria, and therefore should have gone into a public meeting for sure.
Our special meetings, we do have restrictions on what we discussed, but in this case, we wanted to support a community group that was doing great work in our community, and certainly if anybody has any issues with the campaign, that will be something they would have to bring up at Crime Stoppers.
The vote was on a Crime Stoppers proposal to put up as many as 70 posters around the downtown area with examples of anonymous tips the group has received over the years. Here's one of the places Crime Stoppers wants to paste a poster on the week of May 27th, and here's what it will say. The time was 2:07 a.m. He was standing next to a row of parking meters in a black t-shirt. He was holding a hammer. The goal is to reassure people that they can report suspicious activity to Crime Stoppers without worrying their identity might be revealed. But Galgay wonders what people will really take away from it.
I'm not quite sure. This is a campaign that is pretty much advertising that there's high crime. I think that could be a major deterrent, and it could really give a negative impression to tourists in particular.
And as for Crime Stoppers, they say they're not ready to speak about Project Anonymous just yet. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
The human remains found in Makkovik last weekend have been identified. According to the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, the remains are those of 18-year-old Jake Basto of Hopedale. He went missing in August of 2014 when he left Makkovik to go for a walk. The teenager had recently graduated from high school and was about to start a course in carpentry. Makkovik RCMP say foul play was not a factor in his death.
Grand Falls Windsor says it's making a new plan for the sections of town along the Trans-Canada Highway. And that has some people hoping that this pesky divider will finally be gone for good. I'm Garrett Berry. I'll bring you that story coming up on Here Now.
The RCMP are investigating a suspected laser strike on a plane in Gander. A Cessna belonging to the Gander Flight Training School was involved in the incident on May 11th. The airport says this is the first report of a laser strike in Gander, and officials are worried about the risk to safety if it happens again. Most lasers are illegal within 10 kilometers of an airport. If convicted of using one on a plane, a person could be sentenced up to 5 years in prison or fined up to $100,000.
Well, June 5th is the earliest that a new government could be sworn in. That's according to Premier Dwight Ball. The Liberal leader expects to approach Lieutenant Governor Judy Foote in the next few days to talk about officially putting his government in place. The delay, according to Ball, is because some of the ballots from Northern and Southern Labrador districts still have to be officially confirmed. And those counts are being held up by bad weather. Now, after that work is done, Ball says 12 days are needed before the swearing in can happen. The first order of business for the House is to debate that budget, which was revealed shortly before the election. And if that fails to pass in the legislature, the government would fall. Now, Ball says he's not worried about that happening.
Publicly, they've all said that we do not want another election right now. That would mean if we didn't get support of the budget, would mean we'd be back to the polls in June of this year, and so or shortly after that. So we'd end up with a summer election. I think everyone agrees. People, no matter where I go, people are telling me that what they do not want is another election.
Well, conditions have been improving slightly as we had for the past couple of days. We know that glowing orb that we haven't seen, that's going to make an appearance as we head towards the weekend. I'll have all those details and your full forecast coming up.
Well, this province has a new judge. Lawyer Glenn Knoll's been appointed a judge of the Newfoundland and Labrador Supreme Court. Knoll is a partner in the firm Cox & Palmer and was selected by his peers this year as a Lawyer of the Year for his work in personal injury litigation. He has served as president of the Law Society and on the board of the St. John's Minor Hockey Association.
Grand Falls Windsor is developing a new plan for the area of highway that runs through the town. Public consultations are underway, and now the discussion has reignited an old debate about whether a concrete barrier has blocked off access to local businesses. Here Now's Garrett Barry has that story.
Past the dealership, take the off-ramp and turn right at the stop sign. You'll find it on your left. Confused yet?
I had a customer yesterday. He was parked on the side of the highway and he had no clue on how to get here. So I had to actually get in my car and drive there and bring him here.
And we took the easy route. We didn't have to find a way under the several kilometer-long median that splits the highway and the two communities through their busiest sections.
The median separating the east and west corridor needs to be somehow opened up, right? Allow access to both sides of the highway.
To illustrate why some people have a problem, there's a tire shop here on the Trans-Canada Highway that's only accessible to eastbound traffic. If you're traveling from St. John's and maybe hit a pothole, you're going to have to find yourself a way to turn all the way around because there's no left-hand turns through this stretch of the highway. Maybe that's why this building isn't busy.
I think the corridor takes away a lot. I remember when there wasn't a corridor. I remember when there were traffic lights on the highway. And I've seen businesses close down that have been impacted by the corridor.
And even if you're off the highway, you're in on the debate.
Tourism, retail and commercial business and that kind of thing, anything that they can do to make that, easier for people that are not familiar with the area, then that benefits us too.
As for the mayor, he says he understands the concerns, but after 22 years, maybe it's time to move on.
If we tried to take an argument to government to get that median removed, between the astronomical cost of doing so and putting the highway back there, and the argument that why are you taking a safe passage away, I don't think it's an argument we would win.
He says council's energy will be better spent on things it can control to make the streets prettier and a stop more enticing. Garrett Berry, CBC News, Grand Falls, Windsor.
The town council in Wabash is so sure its citizens don't want to amalgamate with Labrador City, it isn't even going to vote on it. The council voted against a motion to hold a plebiscite. This after exactly half of the 42 people who showed up at a public meeting said they didn't want a vote held. The news comes a day after Labrador City Mayor Wayne Button resigned without explanation earlier this week. Button was a major advocate for amalgamation and said his town would hold a vote in September. Now, Wabash Mayor Ron Barron is strongly against amalgamation and said Button broke an agreement they had. Barron wouldn't say whether any disagreements he and Button had played a role in the move.
Only 14 and ready to take on the music world.
Stay tuned. You're about to meet a talented and confident young singer.
This weather update is brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation Home Lottery. Order your tickets now at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Welcome back, everyone. The weekend is upon us.
It is.
Coolish today, but we're hoping for warmer temps.
Yeah, warmer though than we've been seeing.
True.
Certainly, by a couple of degrees actually. But those temperatures are going to continue to climb as we head through the weekend. So it's certainly good news. But if we take a look at the highs that we saw today across the province, the warm spot was up through Labrador in 16 degrees for both Happy Valley, Goose Bay and Lab City. Now, as we head east towards St. John's, that number is only 7 degrees. But like I said, we are going to see those temperatures climb. And then as far as what we're seeing right now, we've got those warmer temperatures into the afternoon. Just give me 2 seconds because my thing is not working. But I'm just going to move over to the computer. And we are going to see temperatures. There we go. Current temperatures right now. Oh, technology.
I can start juggling now.
Yeah,
last
exactly.
little bit of time if you'd like. There you are.
There we go. So 7 degrees is what we're seeing right now. We're seeing those temperatures still in the teens across most of Newfoundland, and then up through Labrador, 15 degrees in Happy Valley, Goose Bay. So looking at the satellite radar, not a whole lot happening as far as that goes, but when I was just outside a little bit earlier, we're seeing a little bit of drizzle right now, and as we head through the night tonight, that low that we've been talking about that's been responsible for that rain, drizzle, and fog for the past couple of days is starting to move out. So we will see clearing skies. That's certainly good news through the overnight. And then for Labrador, going to hang on to that potential for some flurries even overnight tonight along the coast. Other than that, overnight tonight, we're looking at those temperatures a little bit warmer, so about 4 degrees for St. John's. As we head towards Corner Brook 2, and then warmer for the southern half of the island as well. And again, those clearing skies. Slight chance of a few showers up through St. Anthony. Other than that, not a whole lot happening. And then again, along the coast, we're going to see that risk as well. Cartwright, 2 degrees tonight. Happy Valley, Goose Bay, same thing. Lab City sitting at 0. So looking ahead into Saturday, once that low pulls away, it looks like it should be more sun than cloud through the day for sure. For parts of the Burin Peninsula as well as the Avalon, slight chance of a few showers, but overall not a whole lot happening. And then again for at least central Labrador, it looks like potentially along the coast as well, those temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler. So we're looking at that potential for some flurries through the day. But temperatures are going to recover quite nicely. So anywhere from 10 to 12 degrees for the Avalon. It looks like Bonavista should sit around 10 degrees. Those winds are going to finally die down. Light winds generally between 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. Marystown should reach a high near 16 degrees. And then as we head towards central, I have 11 degrees for Gander, 9 for Twillingate, and then Grand Falls winds are probably going to reach about 15 degrees. Those central areas is where most of that heat will be this weekend. Harbour Breton sitting around 12 rather. And then again, Port aux Basques, Stephenville, Corner Brook, all in those mid-teens. 16 for Humber Valley, and then Bay Verte sitting at 14 degrees tomorrow with plenty of sunshine. Up towards St. Anthony as well, should reach those double digits. Cartwright 8, still looking at that risk of a few showers. And I have no showers in the forecast for Happy Valley, Goose Bay, but I wouldn't be surprised maybe to see a spit or two. Not too much in that way. Otherwise, we're looking at temperatures around 17, maybe even 18 degrees through tomorrow. And then again along the coast, as I mentioned, we're still going to see those cooler temperatures, so the risk of either showers or flurries through the day there. So looking ahead towards Sunday, it looks like another nice day, but I'll have all those details coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, one of the province's hottest new musicians has an album release tonight, but she may have to stay out past her curfew for it. Paige Penny is just 14 years old. She's the daughter of St. John's songwriter Kirk Penny, and she has a music video featuring The Once, an album starring the who's who of the city's rock royalty. She even got to record the album in Taylor Swift's studio. Not bad for grade 9. Here now, Zach Gowdy dropped by Paige Penny's rehearsal this afternoon.
My name is Paige Penny, and I have my debut EP coming out today.
Paige, how old are you?
I'm 14. I've been playing ever since I can remember, singing and performing, probably since I was 7 years old, and I knew then that's what I want to do. And I know that this is gonna stay, and this is gonna leave a mark. Well, my dad, his name is Kirk Penny. He's a songwriter. He goes back and forth to Nashville, and he's really taught me a bunch about songwriting, and probably since I was 9 years old, we started writing together, so that's definitely how I learned. So last year I started an Indiegogo campaign to record my debut EP in Nashville, but I really wanted the EP to be really special, so I said, what was Taylor Swift's first studio that she recorded in? And it was Dark Horse Recording, and that's where we did it. We raised enough money, and I got to go down there with my family and recorded the songs.
In Taylor Swift's studio?
Yes, it was incredible. Her picture was on the wall, and I was like, oh my God. So Watch Out For Your Step was written by me and my dad when I was 9 or 10 years old. It was one of our first co-writes together. And me and the Once performed this song at their Christmas show. We had a great time, and we got a video of that, and we showed the session players in Nashville, and they were like, you need to make this song just like in that video. It sounded beautiful. So we asked the Once to sing backup on the song, Watch Out For Your Step. I was like, oh my God, imagine if they could be in the music video, because we knew there was going to be a music video coming out. And they're incredible actors, and they said yes, and it was, that's how the music video came along. So this is the album right here. Paige Penny, Watch Out For Your Step. I have an incredible band lined up. We got Elliot Dix on drums, Brad Power on banjo, my sideman since age 7, Darren Booby Brown, which I call him, and we got Josh Ward on bass, which is definitely really cool. It's all going by so fast, and I feel very excited, and I'm not nervous, but it's more of the butterflies that are exciting. It's amazing, and I'm so grateful for all the opportunities I've been given. Yeah, I'm really grateful for all of it. And you're gonna leave a mark.
Oh, isn't
Yeah,
she
I can't believe
wonderful? You had the pleasure of chatting with her when she was, what, 11 or
Yes,
something?
I know. Now she's a veteran at the age of 14. I remember meeting Paige when she was 11 on the St. John's Morning Show. So way to go, Paige. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
So many of us in this province make our living from the sea, but there was an identification that maybe students here didn't know enough about that. Hebron's giving $1.25 million to change that. That's coming up.
Welcome back. The Hebron Project announced a $1.25 million donation today to enhance ocean education for teachers and students. Now, this announcement was made on board the Paul A. Sakuda supply vessel in the St. John's Harbor, and the funding aims to impress the importance of learning and teaching science for ocean-related jobs. So I decided to climb aboard to check it all out.
Right now, I don't believe that the kids in the province really are aware and understand all of the opportunities associated with the ocean. And it doesn't even actually necessarily mean going to sea. Just think of the people at Seacor who have done all this amazing research, and maybe they haven't even been on ship. Maybe they've all done it in a lab. And then there's the administration support.
Or even just look around us. I mean, everything here.
This is a story in itself. I mean, there's oceans of opportunities out there.
Yeah,
if
literally.
you want to be a little corny.
Was there a recognition that there had to be more?
There really was a gap, if you like, in the curriculum and in teacher training, teacher professional development, and to bring it into the school system. So what's really important is this program now involves educators from the school district, from the Department of Education, from the Faculty of Education, and partners like Parks Canada and Fisheries and Oceans Canada are all involved in helping students and teachers learn about the ocean.
It also reflects that new practical emphasis on learning that's authentic and real, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, that's really key actually to the approach we're using. Yep. And what the other good thing about us, we're not just in St. John's. The Oceans Learning Partnership has people and programs all through the island and up into Labrador.
All right, so it's province-wide.
Yeah.
I'm joined now by Elizabeth Wright. Pretty soon she'll be teaching students. So how will something like this make you a better teacher of sciences?
So this program prepares me to be a better teacher of sciences because it develops you to have a more critical eye towards the types of programs that you're offering to your students. For myself, I worked at the Johnson Geo Center on the grade 4 programming in deep sea coral ecology and education.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really exciting. I loved it. As a scuba instructor, I love coral. I have a passion for that. And so it gave me a better understanding of what goes into experiential learning.
Right.
It gave me a better eye into what goes into a good field trip versus something that just has, flashy activities that mean nothing. So
how do you make that meaningful? I mean, obviously, I can tell by the way you're talking, you're passionate about something like coral.
Right.
How do you pass that on to your students when you're teaching them?
So the whole tenet of experiential-based learning is that children learn through doing. So we were evaluating and developing activities and lesson plans that would get students involved with the activity, get excited, and then bring in all the terminology, all the science behind it, so that they're already excited, and they care about what they're learning.
Hook them and hold them.
Exactly.
Right. So as a science educator, what's important about this?
Well, with Oceans Learning Partnership, one of the cornerstone pieces that we work with is experiential learning. And science and ocean sciences, having that experiential learning piece in Newfoundland as a place-based learning pedagogy.
So the experiential means having the experience.
Absolutely. Doing the hands-on, going onto the boats, meeting the people that are doing the work, and actually doing the work themselves. So a lot of our programming focuses on actually doing science. Right. It focuses on giving the students and the teachers that experience that they wouldn't otherwise have in the classroom. So bringing that ocean into the classroom.
And also, it's a lot of fun getting your hands dirty.
Absolutely. And that is one of the best ways to learn, by actually doing it.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
High school students across the province walked out of class today to join climate change protests. In Gander, organizer Kate Brown brought a list of proposals to Gander's town hall, and she was joined by 90 of her classmates. Here now's Garrett Barry caught up with them at the rally.
Please don't let our planet die! Climate change.
Why study for a future you might not have? And why get educated when the educated aren't listened to? I think that students, by leaving school, that makes the most impact we can make.
It's definitely worth a walk out of class because in the future, if we don't protest our opinions, we won't have a class to go to.
You really think it's that bad?
Yeah, definitely. It's gotten substantially worse in the past couple of years, and it's only going to keep getting worse from here.
What is democracy? This is democracy!
Your response, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I guess as I said when I was speaking earlier, that is something we certainly have recognized as an area.
You heard from the politicians here. What do you think of what they had to say?
I think it's good that they're at least considering what we have to offer. You know, it's important that they work with us.
Town-owned buildings. As it goes, I'm going to be going up to Town Hall on hopefully a frequent basis to check up on how these proposals are going, to kind of put a little steam into the engine, see how things are working out, and hopefully just keep garnering more action and more need for this to happen in our town.
Save the earth! Save the earth! Save the earth! Good! Good!
A similar march and protest was held in St. John's. Students headed to the Confederation building, where they said they have many ideas on how to better protect the planet, but they can't do it without the help of politicians.
That a lot of things need to be reduced. I know in Toronto they have municipal collection for compost. I think that's a great thing. Everyone's talking about banning plastic bags, but what about the plastic bags we put our recyclables in? I mean, like, that's another thing. It's like counterproductive when you think about it. There's so many things, you know, like there's so much I want to do, like have more community gardens, like more sustainable things, like you have all these ideas, but like nothing's going to change unless people in that building start listening to us.
Keeping with the environment, the federal government announced a big investment for Grossmore National Park today. The feds are pumping $4.2 million into a number of different parts of the park. Environment Minister Catherine McKenna made the announcement today at the park's Visitors Center. And the bulk of the money, $2.6 million, is going to renovate 3 campgrounds: Shallow Bay, Lomond, and Trout River. A project to help the threatened salmon population in Trout River is also getting more than $600,000. The last count tallied only 13 adult salmon returning to spawn. The funding will go towards reintroducing more salmon to the river, along with some community outreach.
When you protect nature and make investments like this, it's very good because investments in nature mitigate against the impacts of climate change, also help adapt to the impacts of climate change. And we've seen an impact of climate change on species at risk. So we've had an increase in the numbers of species at risk. One of the focuses is a restoration program for salmon here. And so really important measures that are going to help protect the environment.
Across the province right now, there's been some steady decline in salmon numbers, and that's been of a concern for us as well, because we've seen some of that inside the national park as well. So what potentially could have happened with that population, we can only speculate, but when you're down to around 13 adult salmon that could actually spawn, it causes a lot of concern for most people. So I think we're at a critical point in time, and the funding couldn't have come at a better time for us.
Cindy Gladew's mother and her daughters and her family are going to have to go through this horrific trial all over again.
A case revisited. 4 years ago, he was acquitted of killing a Métis woman.
Today, the Supreme Court orders a new trial. An update on the Cindy Gladew case ahead.
To a disturbing story now. An Ontario man accused of killing Cindy Gladu in Edmonton 8 years ago will face a new trial for manslaughter. Canada's Supreme Court made that decision today. And the case, if you remember, unleashed public outrage when it went to trial the first time over the justice system's treatment of Gladu as an Indigenous victim. The CBC's David Cochran has this report.
I'm happy that it's going back down for trial, if happy is the right word.
A mixed reaction to a split decision. The Supreme Court was unanimous that Bradley Barton should have a new trial for the death of Cindy Gladu. But the 4-3 majority ruled it should be for manslaughter, not murder, as the minority justices and much of the public wanted.
It was a horror show the first time. It will be worse. So like I said, there's no good answer here, but I don't think the court did enough.
Gladu bled to death in a motel bathtub in Edmonton in 2011, the result of an 11-centimeter cut in her vaginal wall. Bradley Barton admitted to causing the wound, but said it was the result of consensual rough sex. Barton was acquitted of all charges, a verdict that sparked enormous outrage across the country. Now, the Supreme Court says the trial judge made numerous errors, notably allowing Gladu's sexual history to be entered as evidence without a proper hearing or proper consideration.
It's a step forward, a tremendous step forward.
The step forward is the court's recognition that Indigenous women are often unfairly portrayed in court, especially in cases of sexual assault. So the justices issued new guidelines to trial judges to remedy this systemic bias.
There's an obligation on courts, on judges, to be gatekeepers, to ensure that bias, prejudice, racism, and sexism do not form part of the evidence, are not what juries and judges rely on to make their decisions.
The retrial is already set for early next year. David Cochran, CBC News, Ottawa.
Airline passengers get some new protections starting mid-July, and that's when new federal regulations go into effect.
When we buy a plane ticket, that ticket is a contract with obligations for both the airline and the traveler. Today we are announcing regulations that will help ensure the airlines live up to the commitments that they have made to travelers.
Airlines will be required to pay up to $2,400 for anyone denied boarding for reasons like overbooking. Carriers will also be required to provide passengers with food and water if they're stuck on a tarmac. If the delay reaches 3 hours, the airline must return to its gate to let people off. A second set of rules come into effect in December. They'll require airlines to provide up to $1,000 for flight delays and cancellations. They'll also require carriers to sit children close to their parents.
To the UK now, where British Prime Minister Theresa May will leave office on June the 7th. May had been under heavy pressure to resign after her proposed Brexit deal was rejected by the House 3 times.
I will shortly leave the job that it has been the honour of my life to hold. The second female Prime Minister, but certainly not the last. I do so with no ill will, but with enormous and enduring gratitude to have had the opportunity to serve the country I love.
May's departure creates more uncertainty about the future of Brexit. Britain currently has until October 31st to leave the EU. The party hopes to have a new leader in place by the end of July.
Now to a story about family. A Saskatchewan man has spent 8 years struggling to help his orphaned nephews. But their lives were quickly deteriorating in Uganda. A dream came true this week when he and his wife were finally able to bring the children to a new home in Canada. CBC's Kendall Latimer was at the airport for the emotional reunion.
Lydia and Ponciano Aluma couldn't help but burst into tears and smiles as they were reunited at the airport alongside their 2 adopted sons. Emotions were overflowing, the moment surreal for them and their friends who had been waiting years to have the boys home.
My name is Emmanuel. My name is Kivuli Benedict.
The boys were sleepy but playful after hours of flying from their old home in Uganda. Ponziano had traveled there to meet them, and their foster parents threw them a lively going-away party before sending them off. Ponziano is their uncle, and when his sister went missing about 10 years ago, he knew he wanted to help. In 2013, the Alumas began trying for international adoption. It was a long journey filled with many frustrations and rejections.
They were not quite certain when it was going to happen, because in 2017 we went down there and we had hoped to come back with them in 2017. But at the last moment, our hopes were dashed.
But they never stopped fighting. They had committed to raising the boys, putting retirement on the back burner, and persevered, supported by friends, community, and their faith in God.
Finally, what you had worked hard for is it has come to pass. There had been moments when you felt you are very close, but always passed by the tip of your finger. You missed it, and you missed it again.
Now the boys are at their new home in Regina, and Ponziano knows exactly what that's like, having come to Canada as a refugee himself in 1987.
Canada is a good place. I came here when I was 27 years old, and I made it. And these two have come when they are this young. I think they've got a bright future.
He feels a sense of overwhelming joy now that the boys are here, and the boys are already beginning to adjust, showing curiosity. They're also sharing dreams about the future. The youngest wants to be a pastor, and his older brother Benedict dreams of becoming a pilot. Kendall Latimer, CBC News, Regina.
Oh, it's so sweet to see them so happy.
Yeah, making the most of those luggage carousels too, right? But imagine they must have been babies. They're very young.
Yeah,
long
there's
wait.
10, 11 years, something.
Yeah.
Was it something like that?
7 or 8 years,
yeah.
almost a decade.
Yeah. Anyway, endless possibilities for those two.
East Coast Trail Association was born 25 years ago. It was 1994, and this was the start. I probably shouldn't have worn this on the hike today, but at the big Trailraiser hike on Saturday, June 8th, you can do the East Coast Trail your way.
Join CBC NL at the annual Trailraiser hike in support of the East Coast Trail Association. The fun starts in Bay Bulls with 5 hikes to choose from.
It's skipping.
Register online at eastcoasttrail.com.
Some of our younger viewers are saying, what?
Yeah.
What does it mean? It's skipping.
Skipping, yeah.
I thought Zach was one of our younger viewers.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are into the weekend just about now.
Yep.
Sounds like it's going to be great for people who are either planting or prepping their gardens or hiking.
Hiking, iceberg hunting.
Lots to do.
Lots to do this time of the year. Yeah, and tomorrow looks beautiful and not too bad on Sunday either. So we'll take a look at that. There's a couple factors though that will determine how much cloud cover we see, especially for the Avalon. And it's that low pressure system just to the south there that you can see that green. If that moves a little bit closer, we could see a little bit more cloud cover. And it looks like that's what's going to happen for the first half of the day anyway. And then we should see some clearing skies. Don't anticipate this will be like socked in cloud cover, but still a little bit more cloud cover than we're going to see on Saturday, that's for sure. And then the next system rolls in for Labrador. So that's going to move in overnight Saturday into Sunday with some rain. Eventually going to bring some cloud cover towards the evening and overnight hours for central and northern Labrador. You'll get into that rain by Monday morning. So as far as those temperatures go, it's going to be quite warm though for the interior and central, as I mentioned. A couple degrees warmer than what we're going to see on Saturday, likely reaching 19 for Grand Falls, Windsor, Corner Brook 18, 16 in Gander. Have those temperatures a little bit cooler for the Avalon, only reaching a high near 10 degrees, but still double digits with sunshine is going to still feel pretty good. 9 degrees for the Straits, 20 degrees for Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and then it looks like Lab City will be cooler with that rain through the afternoon, only reaching a high near 10 degrees. So looking ahead, we'll move towards Monday morning. There's another system, likely going to see some cloud cover with this one as well, with some clearing skies, or at least some peaks of sun through the afternoon. That system will start to make its way across Labrador through the day. Might see a few flurries overnight, Monday overnight into Tuesday morning for central, and then we'll start to get unsettled overnight Monday into Tuesday for the rest of the island. Well, not essentially the rest of the island, but for the western portion of the island anyway. And then eventually we'll see some clearing skies on Wednesday as we get into a ridge of high pressure. So over the next 5 days, a little bit of a roller coaster as far as those temperatures go, by a couple of degrees anyway. 12 degrees tomorrow and sunshine, 10 on Sunday. And then that rain will move in for Monday, as I mentioned. Tuesday, looking at that potential as well with a few peaks of sun. Hovering around 9 degrees, it looks like at this time. And then Wednesday, 10 degrees and plenty of sunshine. Now, for central Newfoundland, 15 to 19 degrees this weekend with plenty of sunshine, maybe a few cloudy periods on Sunday. And then Monday, looking at showers. Same for Tuesday with those temperatures dipping back down. Still the double digits, though, sitting around 10 degrees with Wednesday generally cloudy periods through the day. Western Newfoundland 15 tomorrow, 18 on Sunday, and then again that rain will move in. 13 degrees, dipping a little bit for Tuesday, but then bumping right back up on Wednesday in the low teens there. And then for Eastern Labrador, as I mentioned, 17 degrees tomorrow, 20 by Sunday. You'll see that those showers move in for Monday. Stay sticking around on Tuesday, and then Wednesday looking at 11 degrees. For Western Labrador, beautiful day tomorrow, and then as that system rolls in, it's going to bring in those cooler temperatures, as I mentioned. So 10 on Sunday, 6 on Monday, and then we'll return to those double-digit temperatures to get towards the middle of the week. So let's look at your forecast. I'll have your weather photo coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. Get this, St. John's runner will soon celebrate his 70th birthday by running his 70th marathon.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Joe Ryan started his long-distance career 50 years ago, and it hasn't slowed him down since.
Pretty well-known runner, and he's on his way to Ottawa this weekend for his next marathon. And here now's Jeremy Eaton caught up with Ryan earlier this week while he was, I guess it's no surprise, coaching a group of runners.
Okay guys, what we're going to do tonight, we're going to leave here and we're going to go down onto Hatcher Street. First marathon I ran was in 1969. It was in August month. It was part of the Canada Games in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I had just turned 20. It was a very hot day. I had no idea what a marathon was all about. and I ran, I think, 3:32. And I was so disappointed with that. Here we come around this way, come on, let's go. I've run Athens, which is the original. I've run 12 Bostons, and I've run New York a couple of times, and I've run quite a few in Europe, actually. Paris, Vienna, Prague, and so on. How's Susan? Every birthday is special, but this is number 70, and it's also going to be my 70th marathon. And the marathon is on exactly the same day as the birthday.
I think that is tremendous for Joe to be able to do that. I think that's remarkable, you know. And it's just there's no sweat. I mean, he just does it as if he's going out for a Sunday run. That's it, you know. No sweating, no nothing, just going along with the breeze.
Suppose I could watch Coronation Street, but I do it for my health. I do it because I enjoy doing it. I hope I inspire others to do it. I'm grateful I can do it. And each time I go out there, I kind of say in my mind, thank you, I can do this. There are many, many people today who would love to do what I'm doing and can't do it. People in hospitals and nursing homes and people who are injured or whatever. And I run for these people in a way. It's a kind of I consider it a kind of a gift I've been given. So I'm grateful all the time. And I'll do it as long as I can.
It looks like he can do it for a long time. Way to go.
Joe, you are an inspiration.
Yeah, great attitude.
Fit and wonderful attitude.
Good luck in Ottawa.
And happy birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
Take a look at this photo. Two of my favorite things at the moment, sunset and icebergs.
Beautiful shot.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. I'll tell you where this was taken and who took it just in a little bit.
Birthday and anniversary greetings is brought to you by Lane's Retirement Living. With a pool, cinema, and chef-prepared meals, everyone wants in. Reserve your suite today.
Happy 90th birthday coming up on Sunday to Mabel LeDrew, originally from Fogo Island and now living in St. John's. A big happy birthday to my friend Mary McDonald, who was 100 years old this Wednesday. True lady, loved by many, Mrs. Mack celebrated with friends and family. Birthday wishes to Jim Dix of Harbor Grace, who is celebrating his 90th birthday today. Jim is originally from Harbor Buffett.
And congratulations to Conrad and Patricia Davis from Pollards Point, who celebrated their 56th anniversary on Monday. Best wishes to Reginald and Hetty Norris in Newtown on their 76th anniversary on Tuesday. It was 66 years of marriage yesterday for Olive and Roy Sampson in St. John's. Congratulations.
Happy 50th anniversary to Joe and Mary Whiffen. And happy 50th anniversary today to Brendan and Marjorie Ryan of Kilbride. Lily and Manuel Barney from Lancelot, Labrador will be celebrating their 64th wedding anniversary this Sunday.
A happy anniversary to John and Linda Keeping, who are celebrating their 54th anniversary today. They're from Burnt Islands. And a happy birthday to Violet Squire from Eastport, who celebrated her 90th birthday on May the 20th. Also happy 90th birthday to Jessie Wareham in Arnold's Cove. And yet another 90th birthday wish, this time for Vivian Pope. Vivian's originally from Pools Cove, Fortune Bay, and is now with her daughter in Mount Pearl.
Best wishes to Frances Hurley of Badger on her 93rd birthday. Happy 91st birthday wishes to Geraldine Sweetapple of Glovertown. Happy 91st birthday today to Ronald Warford, formerly of Pleasant View, now in Grand Falls, Windsor.
And birthday greetings to Andrew Rousel in Leading Tickles, who celebrated his 92nd birthday on the 19th. And a happy 95th birthday to Blanche Biles, who will celebrate her birthday on Sunday in St. Anthony.
Congratulations to all. Fine looking bunch.
Very good, yeah. Hope I look that good if I get there.
50 years after John Lennon added some history to the city,
The Montreal Hotel, where he stayed, is marking the historic event.
the Queen Elizabeth Hotel is holding tours of the room where Lennon and Yoko Ono staged their infamous bed-in. There are photos, a concert, and other events to mark the occasion.
John Lennon and Yoko Ono were protesting against the Vietnam War at the time. They stayed in bed for a week to promote peace, give peace a chance, making headlines around the world. And fittingly, the money raised from all this, from these tours, will all go to Amnesty International.
Nice touch.
Yeah.
That was quite the event.
Yeah, I actually know a guy who played the suitcase in the song. But I'll tell you that story after year. Yeah.
Okay.
It was the drum.
Interesting.
Yeah. Low tech.
I remember reading not long ago about that event, and somebody from the Rolling Stones snuck in there and had an interview with them while they were in the bed. It was quite the thing, apparently. Anyway, I digress. We have a beautiful picture to watch.
It's all good. We do. We have a beautiful photo here. Sunset and icebergs. This is Little Bay Islands. Michael Parsons sent us this awesome photo, so thank you so much for sending that in.
Yeah, not too many places in the world where you can catch a snap like that. Fantastic, Michael.
Nope. Yeah. So if you have a picture you want to share with us, NL Photos at cbc.ca.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I hope all of our tourists are able to get out better than the ones that were on Signal Hill this week.
We're going to have a little better weather, yeah.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks for being with us, everyone. See you Monday.
Good night.